house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother Over the Top updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Debbie Shanks. Yay! Thanks so much for your support, Debbie. You're awesome. And if you guys want to be house guest of the day like Debbie, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. And if you're already a patron, your day is coming. Alright, so, bless you. So yesterday, Jason and Chrissy were having a very important game chat outside. This week is freaking crazy with the co-HOH care package. The world is turned upside down. It's like a giant chessboard, like it always is, but this time, things are not so clear-cut. There's a lot of little intricacies going on here. So Jason's starting to get nervous that his whole plan might fall apart. So he's wondering who America's nominee is going to be. It's super important this week. He put Danielle up on the block, hoping that somebody from the Ball Smashers would be America's nominee because he figured there's a pretty good chance that it could be Danielle. So he took that out of our hands and was like, put up somebody else. So he's hoping that will pay off. But he's thinking even if it is a late night jamboree going up on the block, at least they will have another one of their own group competing in the power veto. Because, you know, you need the numbers in that competition. You want the odds to be ever in your favor. So Jason was telling Chrissy it would kind of suck if Justin won this power veto because he's going to be like, I gotta use it on Whitney, baby. And he doesn't want that because then the replacement nominee would be Chrissy. I mean, Shelby's not going to put up somebody from her own alliance. So yeah, she's like, she's in trouble if Justin uses the POV on Whitney. So Jason, speaking of Whitney, is also realizing she is a very good player. They cannot underestimate her. The other day, they were talking about Monty's alliance with the girls, you know, like Monty and his pythons or whatever. And Shelby was actually the one who told them the name of that alliance. And Shelby's not even working with them. And Whitney, who's kind of like warming up to them, didn't tell them that. So Jason's like, wow, she's actually good at keeping secrets. She's a good gamer. Whereas Shelby's like, blah, 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 blah. And this is our alliance now. And this is what we're going to do. So he's like, we need to look out for Whitney. Jason is also feeling the pressure to beat Shelby in this power veto competition. Even if he doesn't win, he wants to beat Shelby. Because whichever one of them does better in this competition will be responsible for breaking the tie if there is a tied vote this week. So then they're talking about the Final Four. Jason brings up how Justin wants to go Final Four with himself, Jason, Chrissy, and Whitney. And Jason's like, I don't like that. Because he feels like Whitney, if she had any say in it, you know, if it was up to her, she is not going to bring Jason to the Final Three. He's a threat to win because he's already come in with a fan base. Also, Whitney is very likable. He doesn't feel like he can beat her. So he's saying he would rather take Shelby to the Final Four with them than Whitney. Jason is also saying, there's no way we're going to beat Justin in the Final Three, so we can't bring him either. We need to figure this crap out. And Chrissy's just like, I don't even want to think about it. And that's what she says every time he brings up getting rid of Justin. She's like, it's too soon for that. I don't want to think about it. So then the house guests all partook. Is that the past tense, partake? Partook in a Big Brother field day. So they did a bunch of like Brady Bunch activities in the backyard. They split up into teams of 2. You got Jason and Chrissy, Shelby and Alex, Justin and Danielle, and then Morgan and Whitney. So they did a wheelbarrow race, 3-legged race with some saran wrap. They did a pillowcase race and egg on a spoon race. So like I said, all your Brady Bunch favorites. And Justin and Danielle were kicking ass. They were the big winners yesterday. They were winning like everything. So then it was time for the safety ceremony a little while later. Grab your block passes. So Shelby saved Alex and Jason saved Justin. They each only got to save one person last night. So that means that the nominees are Whitney and Danielle. And because of the co-HOH this week, it's going to be really important for the veto that like each HOH has a nominee that they claim. So Whitney was claimed by Shelby and Jason claimed, are you kidding me? And Jason claimed Danielle. We knew that was going to happen. So then after the safety ceremony, Shelby and Jason come down and they make their nomination speeches. And Shelby's like, Whitney, you're my nominee and I would never be doing this. But my HOH was messed up by the care package. So it is what it is. But she lets Whitney know she's going to be fighting. Lucy just jumped over Flash. It was amazing. Sorry. So she tells Whitney, I'm going to be fighting for you in the power of veto. Her goal is to take her down. It's not like a malicious thing where she's like, you're going home, bitch. It's not like that. So then Jason is like, Danielle, I claimed you. He tells her there comes a point in the game when it's not about sides anymore. So he says, you're an endgame threat and a comp beast, so take this as a compliment. Now, yeah, that sounds pretty harsh. But he's trying to trick the ball smashers. Danielle volunteered to go up. He's trying to make it look like they actually want Danielle out, but they don't. And guess what? It's actually working on the ball smashers. Are you freaking kidding me? Alex and Morgan were like, did you hear that speech? Like, I think he really wants her out. Like, it was so weird. Come on now. So Jason and Justin are freaking laughing their asses off outside about how smoothly their plan is going and about how the ball smashers are buying this garbage. So then they're like, yeah, we got Shelby to put up Whitney, and that's going to work in our favor because they think that Danielle is going to have a much easier time beating Whitney in the power veto competition than somebody like Alex, who's like really strong in competitions. So they're feeling good about that. They're also, you know, playing it off like they're going to get Danielle out this week, but that is not their plan at all. They really want to backdoor Alex, and it's not looking good for her, but we'll get there. So then Shelby pulls Whitney aside to chat. She's like, I want to talk to you. So she apologizes for putting her up on the block again, and Shelby's like, I ran through all of the scenarios. I crunched all the numbers, and there's no way that you're going to go home this week. There's no scenario where you're actually in danger. You might not even get any votes. So she's like, Justin promised that he would never vote you out, but he would definitely vote out Alex or Morgan over Danielle. So Shelby's telling her, like, you're totally safe this week. I couldn't put up Alex or Morgan because they would have been in danger. So Whitney starts getting teary-eyed, and she's like, I just don't want it to be like last week when I was up against Scott. So, you know, she's got some trust issues now with Alex because of what happened last week. She's like, it's scary. So Shelby starts crying too, and Shelby is like a crazy crier. She's like, so she was upset, and Whitney's like, don't cry, I understand, it's just emotional. So then they start talking about America's nominee. They both think it's going to be either Alex or Morgan. And then Whitney's asking, like, so if I win the power of veto or somebody uses it on me, who's going up? And you know Shelby is thinking Justin, but she's not going to say that to Whitney because Whitney could just go turn around and tell Justin. So she's like, someone from the other side. But come on, I think Whitney knows it's most likely Justin. So she's telling Shelby, in the double eviction, I don't think that Justin's going to be targeting you. He really wants Alex out, so I think you'll be fine. And Shelby's like, yeah, okay. I mean, really. So then Alex and Whitney are chatting. Alex pulls her aside because she wants to mend some fences. It's been really weird between the two of them. So she's like, yeah, I feel like things have been kind of strained since last week, so I want to clear some things up with you. This is freaking ridiculous. Alex has the nerve to tell Whitney, I never had an alliance with Scott. Are you serious? She says, we just talked about Pokemon with Shelby and we all bonded over that. Come on now. Scott was freaking ready. He dropped everything for Alex. He wasn't even playing his own game anymore. You trying to say you didn't have an alliance? Come on, girl. So then, you're not trying to fool your own alliance here. You're talking to Whitney. So then she's telling her, yeah, Jason approached me last week, and he was really nervous that he was going to be America's nominee, so he's trying to make himself safe. So he said, I will talk to Danielle for you and get her to keep you off the block if you promise to keep me safe in the event that he's America's nominee. Which is true. He did, you know, talk to her about that. But then, she's trying to totally take the blame off herself for Whitney going up on the block last week. She's like, yeah, and then Jason pulled me aside again and asked me if I wanted you or Morgan to go. And Alex is like, and I told Jason, I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus. I'm not going to do it. So she's trying to play like that. Come on now, Alex. So then, she's, you know, looking ahead to this week, and she's telling Whitney, totally expecting to be America's nominee, but if I'm not, and I have a vote this week, I will never vote you out over Danielle. There's no way that that would ever happen. Also, she says if she wins the power veto, she will use it on Whitney, and then Shelby can put up somebody from the other side. So Whitney's like, okay, that sounds good. We're gonna have to stay strong and loyal to each other this week. Yeah, we'll see. All right, so then today, it was time to find out who America's nominee is. So America's nominee is Alex. Oh, man. Yeah, that kind of sucks. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of you guys are happy about it, but I wasn't that pleased about it. So then they picked the players for the power veto. There were already 5 people competing with the 2 HOHs and the 3 nominees, so they only had to pick out 1 chip. Shelby picks out Alex. She's already playing, so she gets to choose, and she picks Morgan. Alright, so that means that everybody's playing in this competition except for Chrissy and Justin was chosen to host because he's Justin. Okay, so after that, you know, there's that few hour gap between the player draw and the actual competition. So there was a lot of strategizing and speculation in there. The ball smashers were trying to figure out a plan of action if it was some sort of knockout competition. So they're like, you go for this person, and you go for this person. But the really sad part was when they were trying to figure out what they would do if one of them were to win the power veto. Like if Morgan or Shelby won, they were like, should we use it on Alex and just have it be between Danielle and Whitney and hope that the other side will actually vote out Danielle like they said? Or use it on Whitney, put up another late night jamboree person, take away one of their numbers, and trust that Whitney will not vote out Alex. And they were like actually thinking that Whitney was gonna stick with them, and it's just like, that's not what would happen. But anyway, 4 o'clock, well, 1 o'clock Big Brother time. It was time for the power veto competition. So for this one, this was crazy. They had to transfer a bunch of balls across a balance beam, total of 30 balls, and they had to do 2 at a time. So when I'm hearing this, I'm like, okay, what's wrong with that? But it was not that simple. This was like a double balance competition because not only did you have to keep your balance on the beam, but you also had to hold the balls in this really long plastic tube. So the ends, both ends were open. So you could very easily drop your balls out of the tube. And if you did drop them, you had to reset and dump out like all of your progress. But this was kind of like the competition last season. It was an HOH with the balance beam. So once you fill up a tube with 10 balls, that one is banked. It's done. If you fall, that one will still remain. You don't have to empty that one. So there were 3 columns of 10. Do you guys know what I'm saying? I hope so. Alright, so there was a time limit of 2 hours for this competition, but it was not necessary, thankfully. Shelby at one point was really close because she was about to bank on her second tube, but she didn't realize that you had to run across on the beam to get back for it to count, so she jumped off and ran on the grass, and they're like, Shelby, you need to reset. And she was really upset about that, but it gave Jason the opportunity to pull ahead. And then once he got to that 3rd column, it was like game over. Jason won the power of veto. Good for him. But then after he won, he screamed, "Eat a dick!" And then he turned it into a song like, "Eat a dick, eat a dick, eat a dick." Danielle is celebrating like crazy, which is kind of funny because they were all like, we never celebrate and the other side always does, which was hilarious. But anyway, the other side was pissed about it. So yeah, I think that was a big clue to them that they were lying, and Jason was not targeting Danielle after all. He's gonna save her, and he's going to put Morgan up on the block unless they come up with some crazy deal to bring to him. So that means that all 3 ball smashers are gonna be up on the block, except obviously Shelby, who's the HOH, but wow, crazy. So tomorrow's the power veto ceremony. It's gonna be ugly. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and until tomorrow, much love.